Shri Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Akanta Mantalakaram, Yaptam Yena Saracharam, Tatpadam Darshidam Yena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sadasiva Samarambam, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryandam, Vande Guru Paramparam. Shubhyam Namaskaraha. Good morning. So first of all, apologies for the last week class. So I couldn't join you there. So in the Kali Yuga, which is supposed to have started in apparently 5,121 years ago, our ability to stand up to Dharma, Satyam is deteriorating, it's weakening. Satyam and Dharmam are the two important tenets of Sanatana Dharma. But in Rama tells Lakshmana, Dharmogi param yoge dharme satyam pradishtadam. Lakshmana goes to Rama and says, brother, just give me an instruction. I will put this old man in the prison, Dasharatha, for asking us to go to the forest. Then Sri Rama tells Lakshmana, well, you could do it. You are powerful enough to do it. But what about the Dharma? Dharmehi param yogi. Dharma is the most important point. The most supreme value is Dharmam. At Dharmam, only in the Dharmam, Satyam is Pradishthita. So Dharma is the fundamental embryo on which Satyam comes in. But same Rama tells later, the same Ayodhya Kanda later, Ahu Satyam hi param dharmam, dharmam yado jana, Satyam yekam padam brahma, Satyam dharmaha pradishtitaha. What the learned say, Satyam is giving birth to Dharma. So Dharmam is giving the basis for Satyam. Now he says, Satyam is giving birth to Dharma, or Dharma is embellished in Satyam. Now, there's no contradiction here. It basically means Satyam and Dharmam are same coin. The two sides of the same coin. So that's why Rama stood for proving this in a Satyam perspective, Dharma perspective, as a Satyavan. Maryada Purushottam Visyaram. But these two important words are the core value of Vedanta, Vedarakasya, Vedasara. All the Itihasa Puranas only talk about that. Life morality is all about this. But in Kali Yuga, we don't have the capacity to hold on to it. See, if you go, what is Satyam? And Satyam Anantam Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. All this Vedantam, when you understand intellectually, it looks like you are grasping it, but it is elusive, it goes away. You can't hold on to it. Our intellectual capacity is not there. Our ability to grasp subtlest of things is not there. Why it is not there? Because it's preoccupied by the cosmic, external, Laukika Vidya. So therefore, the Vedanta, even though it is interesting to learn, we are not able to apply it. Vedanta is about application. Nididhyasana, mananam, nididhyasana, cannot do. Then we went to Patanjali and he gives the instructions, sadhanas for mind control. And when we gone through it, we said, oh, this is interesting. But it is impossible for me. I can't sit for 5 minutes. Tapas, I can't do. Chitta vritti nirodham, I can't do. Because of Kali. Then can you do karma yoga? Bhagavan says, do karma yoga. Just whatever you do as a karma yoga. And say, okay, what is Karma Yoga? Palatyagam. Whatever the benefit you get, you sacrifice. Now that's like a blow on us. How can I do something and sacrifice to others? I can't do that. So we cannot do Karma Yoga fully. It's not that we don't want to do. Upasana can we do? When they say there's a Swami there in this form, Lord Ayyappa in Ayyappan Koil, or Vishnu in Hari's temple, in this Vigraham, in this Pratimam, in this Lingam, we just pass by, no time to see. So even the Upasana, we're not able to do. But we want to do all this. It's not that we don't want to do. Now, this is a major worry for us. But we are not worrying because we don't know what we are missing. But the great sages worry about this. If at all sages worry, they worry because satsang has to grow. The world has to get redemption. Every being has to get emancipation. So they just cannot take the Purnatvam for themselves and disappear. They become Parana Purushas and sages, and they walk around, roam around. That Bhattathri, when the divine feet touches the earth, they are hoping that there is a path for us. No? In the great Sahityam by Tyagaraja Swami, Endaro Mahanubhavu, the whole thing about what is the value of the Mahans. Their beautiful eyes, when we look at it, when they look at it on our side, we get salvation. But this worry is not just today, it is worries from even the previous Yuga. So the Veda Vyasa himself, very worried about that. Having articulated, having assembled the Vedas into Samhitas for us to learn, after writing Brahma Sutras and many, many Puranas and all that, he was feeling uncomfortable, unfulfilled, because he's a tapasvi, jnani, that I'm not giving anything useful to the Kali Yuga. Because Kali is so tataschanu dinam dharma, satyam, saucham, kshama, daya, kalena balina rajan. In Bhagavatam, O king, the Kali will take away all this. Ayur Balam Smriti, everything will go. Daya, Dharma, everything will be gone. So we know the story. Then Narada comes to Vyasa and tells Vyasa Bhagavan, how can you be worried? You have done so much. So take all your Vedam, Vedantam, Brahmasutra Bhashi, Brahmasutra, everything you take it, grind it, filter it, take out the rasam. So that the rasam is not requiring intellectual comprehension, not requiring physical discipline, not requiring great tapas, penance, upavasan, upasanas. For every ordinary being, that should give you salvation. The only thing that you can do is to bring out what the Parabrahman, the Nirguna Brahman is there into Saguna Brahman to worship. Therefore, he delivered Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuranam is what Vedavyasa added. See, there may be a lot of argument which year it was done. Doesn't matter. Whoever provides Purana is Vyasa. Whoever composes things is a Vyasa. So we are not going to talk about Bhagavatam in detail because no way I'm qualified to say, and it is such an ocean. And who am I to say about that? But Srimad Bhagavatam context need to be there because the Mahapurusha that we want to invite to a satsang today, to understand his life, understand his worship, understand his contribution, we need to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that context, we must know about Bhagavatam a little bit. So the Mahapurusha we're going to see is called Melputhur Sri Narayana Bhattathri. He's a great sage of 16th, 17th century in the South India of Kerala. And his Anugraha Grantha, he has done many, many things. His Anugraha Grantha is called Narayaniyam. Narayaniyam is a supreme stotram, kavyam, which is the condensation of Srimad Bhagavatam. So why did he do that? Why did he bring out the Bhagavatam into? Again, you can take a very simple answer to this, because Vyasa made Bhagavatam of 18,000 slokas. Sri Narayana Bhattathri would have thought, this is not going to the Kalis. People are not able to grasp this 18,000 shotras. So he brought down to 1,036 slokas. So the context of Bhagavatam, the Narayaniyam is on Lord Narayana, the Adikeshava, as Krishna, as Guruvayurappa in Guruvatapuri, or Guruvayur in Kerala. Therefore, the Guruvayur is very ancient temple. So the context of Guruvayur temple, the context of Bhagavatam, needs to be understood to appreciate Narayaniyam as a Grantham, Anugraha Grantham. Anugraha Kshetram is Guruvadapuri. So this Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, brings Bhagavan Krishna to be the Parabrahma. Every Puranas, when you read, that Purana will raise a particular form of Saguna Brahman to be the ultimate Paramatma. If you take Vinayaka Puranam, Skanda Puranam, Shiva Puranam, every Puranam will bring in some form of God into Parabrahma. That's okay, because Ekam Satyam. Having demonstrated the implications of forthcoming Kali Yuga in Mahabharata, the great Kavya, which contains so many things like Kapilopadesham to his mother, Devaki. Vyasa wanted to bring in the essence of Mahabharata, essence of Upanishad into Bhagavatam. If you just look at the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam out of the 18,000 slokas, the first one, start like this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmatyasya Yaton Yadidarshas Sardeshva Bhignyatsvarat Tene Brahmakritaya Adikavaye Muhyandi Yatsuraya Tejo Varim Rudam Yatavinimayo Yatra Trishago Prusha Tamna Svena Sada Nirastagokam Satyam Param Dhimahi. To understand Bhagavatam, at least to know the core of the Bhagavatam, the very first shloka, it will take a long time to explain the shloka itself. The very first shloka, the purport of this, and the very last shloka, these two, if you see it, we understand the whole core of Bhagavatam. And of course, it is like, giving a vitamin pill. But the whole feast is there when you recite the Srimad Bhagavatam, understand the Bhagavatam. So, Janmat Yasya Ataka, the very first phrase, Janmat Yasya Ataka. This is the Brahma Sutra, the second sutra of Vyasa. Atado Brahma Jignasha. Let me start the Brahma Jnanam. Then Vyasa says the second sutra, like Patanjali made the Patanjali Sutra, like Jaimini made the Mimamsa Sutra, Dharma Sutra. Veda Vyasa made Brahma Sutra, Upanishad Saram. He says, Janmat Yasya Yataha. First one is Brahma Jignasa, let's know about Brahman. That Brahman is Janmat Yasya Ataka, from which everything comes out is Brahma. It's a sutra, very short one. So here he says that which brings out everything, the creation, sustenance, absorption, grace, is Yataha, from which Anvayat Itarataha, Arteshu Abhigya Swarat. We'll go very briefly with Google. See, this is the Vedantic terms. Anvayam Vyatirekam, we talked in the Vedanta class. A simple example will remind you. If I take a necklace, I can take out all the beads, all the pearls, separate it, I can see this. But the necklace exists as a necklace because there is a thread. The thread is the Anmayam. The Vyatirekam is what is external view, is all these variable things. When you differentiate, the Dvaitam comes in, the Vyatirekam comes in. But underneath is the Anmayam, the Moolam, Satyam. Another good example would be, we saw three avastha: Jagrita, Swapna, Sushupti avastha. I'm walking around, I'm listening, I'm hearing, I'm singing. I know it. I'm aware of it. Then I was in a dream. I had a beautiful dream. I was going to Kashmir or Switzerland. Wonderful dream. I'm aware of it. I had a wonderful sleep. I know nothing. I was sleeping. I'm aware of it. I'm aware of that I slept. I'm aware that it was a wonderful sleep. So this awareness is Anvayam, which is the underlying thing. Sakshi, Brahman, Atma. So that which creates this Vyatirekam, that which creates all the awareness of the external world, but still remains indwelling one. So everything is Janma. When the dream comes in, you see, when you are in a dream, you create a world and in which you live, you absorb it, you see it. Where does in the dream, when you hear elephant, where does the elephant come from? From you. So you are the creator. You are the enjoyer because you are in the dream. You are a sustainer of the dream. You are an annihilator of the dream. You are the Trimurtis because you destroy the dream. When I say you, it is the Atma. Now, if this is Vyatirekam, if it comes out into all this external world, it's again an Atma, but we call it Paramatma. Vyasa cannot help but to come with Vedanta. So this is how the Bhagavatam starts. Even though Bhagavatam is because of Krishna Avadaram and all Avadarams are given Krishna Avadaram in very prominent way. People sometimes say it's a Vaishnavic text. But that's fine. But there is no Vaishnavam, Saivam, everything. It's Nirmatam in Veda. You can call Swami in any way. Okay, the important word is Swarat. Swarat means independent. See, just because you dreamt, you don't own the dream, do you? It's just a dream, illusion. You're happy to say it's an illusion, but you endured it, you experienced it, you created it, but you don't own it. This is what Vedanta says. The whole world is a dream of the Paramatma. He doesn't get involved, like you don't get involved in the dream. He manages his world, he sustains it, he removes it, but he is Swarat. He is independent. He's not involved. See? Untouched. So he is not driving towards Satyam. Satyam is that which doesn't change. When Satyam, the Dharmam comes, I told you the Rama's quote, Dharmam Pratishthita. Dharmam is all this happening in this world. Satyam, Rhythm is Dharmam. How things are, the order of the nature. That is in Satyam. Then, Tena Brahma Kritaya Adi Kavaye Mushyanti Yat Suraya. Mushyanti means illusion. Everything is an illusion. Because he can say it, now we know it. It's a dream. Paramatma's dream is this world. But in this dream, he takes the dream and gives to who? Adi Kavaye, means to Adi Kavi. Who is Adi Kavi? We normally say Valmiki. Valmiki is Adi Kavi in this worldly literature. But Adi Kavi is who wrote the first poetry? Brahma, Lord Brahma, Srishtikarta. The whole Srishti is a poetry, is it not? Achintya, unthinkable poetry. Imagine, when you write a little poetry, we feel proud. I mean, look at the whole universe created as a poetry. So the Brahma is the Adikavi. Brahma as Adikavi came from the Paramatma. To him, what did he do? He's just not create and let him go, because Brahma has got another name called Kaha. Because when he brought, he says, who am I? Why am I here? When the baby born, and she cries as na kwa kwa. That's actually the mola is Kava. What is this? Why am here? But the beauty is, we can keep on talking about this sloka for a long time, but Tene, he gives. Ten means to give away, imparting. Brahma Hridaya. So he is imparting this to the Hridayam of Adikavi. So the whole thing is imparted to Brahma into the heart. He did not say Brahma Jnanam I gave. It's not giving a Gurukula Vashan to you. See, this Grantham is going to be talking about Bhakti as a pradhana. Bhakti is not just what we call Bhakti, but Bhakti is the complete surrender. So when you do Bhakti, Jnanam is a byproduct. Jnanam comes through to you. Like a COVID comes to you, like a cold comes to you, a virus passes to you. But it does physically in a gross form. But here, it goes heart to heart. No mind involved. No intellectual involved. That's why when you listen to Bhakti Vachanams and Bhagavatams and all such granthas and upanyasams, lectures, just park your intellectual scrutiny away, because if you bring in mind, if you bring intellect, you spoiled it. How do I get into my Hridayam? Hridayam is the Atma. Sad Buddhi. The Buddhi also is a blemish there, Guna has come. That means just be like a child. Child does not comprehend. Child takes everything as it is, like a fertile land. So, Tena Brahma Kritaya Adikaviye Mukhyandi. So, he imparted that to the Brahma. And Brahma knows that it is Muhyanti. All this is, what all this is? Illusion. Tejo, Vari, Murdam, Yata. Tejo means fire. He talks about creation. Fire comes in, water comes in, everything comes in. All this is Mithya. Of course, there's an order that we saw in Tattva. Akasha comes in, right? Akasha comes first. But Akasha cannot come first. Why? To have Akasha to come, you have mind has to come first. Is it not? Because what is the proof? You should all know it now. When you go to deep sleep, where is the mind? Where is the space? Where is the time? Mind is not there, time is not there, space is not there. Therefore, your space has come. From the space, the fire comes. From the fire, the water comes. From the water, the prithvi comes. And all this thing we saw, all this could not have come without the mind coming in. That is a mind we wanted to control it. Chitta vritti nirodham. But how do I have the mind? The moment I say I have a mind, what has come? Ahankara has come. The ahankara is what? The I that has come. So of course, this is what Bhagavan Ramana says. Get hold of the I, then you don't need to worry about the mind control, because you're going to the source of the mind. So that is the Satyam. That Satyam, Param Dhimahi. See, again, you see, Dhimahi is a Bhagavachanam of Aham in plural. Let us pray, let us meditate upon. Param means supreme, Satyam Param. Param is an adjective here. So the supreme Satyam, which is Parabrahmam, let me pray. Okay. If you say this as the first shloka, as all great communicators communicate what they want to communicate at the beginning of the communication, and complete with communicating what they communicated. So therefore, we know from the first communication from Bhagavata Shlokam, Bhagavan Vyasa is going to talk about meditating upon the Parabrahma. The big question comes in. Meditation means I have to bring my mind. Mind means I have the buddhi, I have these senses, I have indriyas. But mind and indriyas have to hold something as an object. But this is Nirguna Brahma. So if Bhagavan is saying Satyam Param Dhimahi, that means he's not lying. He's going to say, he's going to give you a way that incomprehensible Nirguna Brahman is going to be grasped by our mind. Is it not limiting? Yes, it is limiting. So what? So the God comes in a limited form so that we have an opportunity to hold on to him or her or it, whatever you want to call it. So this is the very first of the sloka. The very last one, after the 12th kanta, after 18,001, he says, Nama Sangeetnam Yasya Sarvapapa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Samanastam Namami Harim Param. Okay, I'm skipping all those ocean of feast where he talks about all the Dashavatharams, especially Krishna Avataram, in so many beautiful ways as a Veda Rasam. But finally what he says, Nama Sangeetanam, by worshipping the Parabrahman, whose glory I explained in the Bhagavata Purana, pick up his name. And before I pick up the name, I want to pick up his form, no problem. After picking up the form, I want to do worship, do it. I want to do milk, abhishekam, Sahasranam Archana, do it. But all this will, you borrowed it from Nirguna Brahman, you borrowed all these forms for you. The forms will go, like Lord Krishna will go. Therefore, you must develop a form or develop a key that you can hold on to. Even the form disappears. That is Nama Sangeeta. See, now you can see the whole Bhagavata Puranam, therefore, is to translating to us by the Veda Vyasa, the Nirguna Parabrahma Tattvam to Saguna Brahma Tattvam, and that to bring Guru Krishna as the Parabrahma. See, Krishna is not just Krishna Avataram. Krishna is there even before that, the names. That which attracts you, that which takes you. What attracts you is because that's you. So the Krishna Lila is said. So this is the context of Bhagavata. Now, how this was propagated, you must know also, because we're going to talk about Guru Vayu. In Mahabharata, if you look at it, Mahabharata was a narration by Ugrashava Sauti. Sauti means son of Sutta. Sutta is a tribal, Nordic rishis, Pauranikas. Their job is to preach Puranas. Ugrashava preaches this, recites Mahabharata in Naimisharanya, where a great yajna was just completed or even abruptly stopped. In the yajna done by a king called Janamejayan. Janamejayan, I said the yajna was almost abruptly stopped because Janamejayan was doing a yajna called Sarpasarat. By doing the yajna, all the snakes will come into the fire and then die. What a papa karyam it is. But that he was doing. And he was stopped doing that by a sage called Astika. And he tells him, don't do it. To stop it, he invites Vedavyasa to come there. Janamejaya stops it. And then he asks Vedavyasa to say why this should not be done. Dharmahinam happens. And please recite with your Mahabharata. Then Vyasa tells Vaishampayana, one of his disciples, to tell Janamejaya. It's important to tell Janamejaya because the reason why Janamejaya is doing this heinous act, because Janamejaya's father was Parikshit. Who is Parikshit? Parikshit, son of Abhimanyu and Uttara. Who is Abhimanyu? Abhimanyu, son of Arjuna and Subhadra. You can see the lineage. The Parikshit is, the Kali is starting now. So Parikshit is a king. He is the leftover Kuru's king. He is ruling this the clan. But he is, there's a story, I don't want to go into that. He confronts Kali in a form of an evil man beating a bull with one leg and kicking a cow. And he goes and stops him and says, look, don't do it. It's bad to kick the cow and harm this bull. And then this man turns into a ghostly figure and he says, I am the Kali Purusha. This bull is actually a dharma standing on one leg. The cow is a Prithvi. I am here to harass them. And Janamejaya says, no, you will not. I will kill you. Then he pleads, okay, give me some space. I can live happily. And he says, it goes, you can live in a house of prostitution where there is slavery, mockery of dharma and all that. But he also uses the word kanchana, where there is gold, to mean abundance of illegal wealth. But he took the kanchana, therefore till he gets into his crown, golden crown. Therefore, Janamejayan's buddhi has changed. He become a little bit arrogant. So he goes for hunting and he sees a saint, and saint is in a kind of yogic mode, and he asks a question, the saint doesn't answer him. He got angry and he took a dead skin of a snake on his neck and he goes away. It's a story. When the rishi's son comes in, looks at this snake skin on his father's body, and he curse. A snake will kill this guy. So this Janamejaya comes to know, Parikshit comes to know. Jnanam dawns on him and he pleads. The time Vyasa's son Sugar Brahma. Sugar Brahma is Avaduta, Brahmanishta. So even he took a gap from his Nishta, learned Bhagavatam from Vyasa and teaches to Parikshit. So that's the story. So the Parikshit's son, Janamejayan, heard about this story. Therefore, he wanted to take a revenge on the snakes. So he does this yagam. Then the yagam stopped. So this Ugrashirvat listened to all the Vaishampana conversation. That time is called Jaya, 8,000 slokas of Mahabharata. Vaishampana recites the Bharata, the additional 24,000 slokas. It goes on like this, but that's not important right now. But when this yajna was stopped, Janamejaya already had done this papa. As a result, his skin is peeling like a snake. His body is aching. His bones are brittle. He's getting a leprosy kind of a disease. And then he asks, what do I do? Then Rishi Atreya comes and tells him, these are legends, yeah? He says, you have to go to Guruvatapuri. There you pray to Paramatma. I said, what is this Guruvatapuri? And he says, in a very special material called Patala Shilam. When Adi Narayana was creating, he created this image of the Parabrahman into this little statue. And he gave it to Brahma. So Brahma gave to Sutapas. He gave it to Kashyapa. After worshipping, he gave it to Kashyapa. Kashyapa gives to Vasudeva, who's Bhagavan's father. And Vasudeva gives to Krishna, takes from Vasudeva after he gets this Dwaraka empire. So he worships this statue, Vigraham. And he tells Uddhava, his disciple, his mantri, the Kali comes in, and when I am gone, the tsunami will come, and Dwaraka will be submerged. And that time, this Parabrahma Swarupam in this Achavadaram, the Vigraham, will come over the sea. So you take it and establish for the Kali to subside in the future. So it happens. So Uddhava, before he takes to Bhadrashram to tapas, so he prays to Brihaspati, the Guru. So Guru comes in and he tries to lift this statue, could not take it, and he asks the help of the wind god, Vateshwara, Vayu Bhagavan. So he comes in and lifts it. So the Guru and Vayu take those statues, and they don't know where to really embellish this. And Parameshwara and Parvati comes down to earth in a place called Mamiyur. They have been doing dancing. And the Sankarshanam draws this Guru and Vayu to the ground. And then Lord Shiva tells him, establish in this place. So in this place called Guru Vayu, that is today called, this was established. This is the legend. So therefore it is 5,000 years old. But historically, these knowledgeable people say the name of Guru Vayu is not before the 15th century. It could be one of those Alvash Tiruthalam, holy temple. Or it is called Kurvayur, because Kurvai is a kind of a paddy which is harvested and where it comes in, it is maroon and all that. So it doesn't matter to us. So the Guruvayur is a great kshetra. So it is called a legend carries the Paramatma Adinarayana with 4 hands, Adikeshava, worshipped as Guruvayurappa, Lord Krishna, is a place where all your physical ailments, mental ailments go away. Vadam, Pittam, Kapam, all this goes away. So this Guruvayur is an Anugrah Kshetra. Now, what is Bhattathri? Who is Bhattathri? The Guruvayur Kshetram, it became very famous by quite a few people. Firstly, they call him Vishwanatha Swami. There's some Kurur Amma. Of course, Narayana Bhattathri. It's a great poet called Pundanam. Of course, the Upanyas Chakravarti, Anandarama Dikshita. I remember my mother used to go there and in late 60s, I think. She used to hear all this and give the stories about how Anandarama Dikshit used to recite Narayaniyam and give a wonderful import to the people. Now, what is Narayaniyam and how is Narayana Bhattathri is associated with this? Narayana Bhattathri is supposed to have born in sometime in the 1560 or something like that, in a place called Melputhur or Melputhur. This himself says in he later writes a Vyakarana Grantham called Prakrasya Sarvasha. In the first sloka, he says, who I am. I am born in Kerala Deshan, in Bharata River, across the Bharata River. It's called Tirunavi, is a great sthalam. Near Tirunavi is a Gramam called Melputhur. The Melputhur Gramam is where there was a great Mahatma called Matridatta. Matridatta is a Mimamsaka. Mimamsa means divine inquiry, Bhuchya Vicharam. Whoever inquired Vedas called Mimamsaka. So he was a Mimamsaka. They follow a special form of Advaitam called Veda, Achintya Veda Advaita. We talk about that. So he was born to them, a very devout family, and he learns Veda from his father first. Then he learns from Narayana Bhattathri, learns from Madhavacharya, not the Madhvacharya, there's a different Madhvacharya. He learns from him. Then there's the Damodaracharya, he learns logic, Tarkam, Nyaya Visheshikam. But importantly, Achyuta Vishradi is a guru, a Vyakarana guru. Vyakaranam is the most finest form of Sanskrit scholastic qualification. And he's an amazing scholar, which will come from the Narayaniyam study itself. But he was a bit of a vagabond, not only a prodigy, he could prolificate. He goes around, he's scholastic and naturally gifted, not very devoted. But bless him that he got the studentship of Achyuta Pisharadi. He takes him into his fold on making him towards Satvishaya. But what happens was, once upon a time, the guru gets on into the, maybe his Purva Karma, rheumatoid arthritis, Vadanoi, Vadarogam. He cannot move, hands, all the bones are brittle, like a paralytic. So his disciple is very sad. So he says, when he finishes his Gurukulam, he says, look, I would like to take your burden onto me. And the Guru says, no, it's my Prarabdha Karma. But he says, no, you don't take any medication because you accept it as a Prarabdha Karma. I will take it. I know how to cure it. There are Ayurvedic medicine, I can cure it. So he prays for it. And because of his intensity of devotion to Guru is so much, that disease ailment comes upon him. So he got affected by it. Guru gets recovered. He got affected by it. But then he tries all kinds of medication. He doesn't cure. Because he said, I can cure it. He could not cure it. So this dawns on him slowly. And then he realizes the Guruvada Purishvara is the one who can help me. So I need something. There was a great Mahan who wrote the Ananta Ramayana in Malayalam called Tattachan. Eഴുത്തച്ഛൻ Ramanujan. Ramanuja Eഴുത്തച്ഛൻ. Something like that. Eഴുത്തച്ഛൻ Ramanujan. So when he was not moving, Narayana Bhattathri tells his servant called Gopalakuttan, go to Eruthachan, ask him, tell him about my problem. He may give me some advice. So as the legend says, Eruthachan listens to all. He's also an astrologer, and he tells him, ask your guru with the fish in his mouth to progress. So, Machakuta Vakya. So he goes and tells him, look, I can't tell you what he said. You are a Shrestha Brahmana. You are a vegetarian. He says, put a fish in your mouth and pray. Then he realizes what it is meant is that from Matsya-avataram, from the avatar of Lord Vishnu, the Guru has asked me to recite the Dashavataras. In other words, understand Bhagavatas and recite Bhagavatas in a way that starts from the Matsya-avatara. So he says, take me now to Guruvayur. I want to go to Guruvayur. So they carries him to Guruvayur, and in Guruvayur, there is a Anugraha's Kirtan is Narayana Saras. There is a Narayana Kirtan there. Get back, and then he comes Pradashanam, and even today there is a Namaskara Mandapam. I don't know if it's still open or not. People can go and do Namaskaram. I can see the Swami, and in the right side, in between two pillars, he sits, and then he starts writing Narayaniyam. He writes, Dashakam means 10. So he writes 1036 slokas in 100 Dashakams. Some Dashakams got more than 10, 11, sometimes 12. In each, this Narayaniyam is so special because it is a conversation to the God. You know, every time when you recite a slogam, you say in a third person singular. But here it is conversational, Madhyama Purusha. He is asking Krishna, Parabrahman, hey Krishna, I heard about this. Apparently you came and rescued Prahalada. Is it true? Apparently you came as a Narasimha. You did that, you did that. Is it true? Can you not come and help me? Can you not solve my problem? Sanatana Amrish used to say, he will say, Apadiya, did you do that? And Bhagavan says, Amam Apadiya, yes, I did that. So he was having a conversation with God in such a personal nature, outpouring his emotions. It is wonderfully intellectually brilliant Sanskrit. So that's why Narayaniyam, when you, as a bhakta, when you read it, it gives you an emotional pouring of heart. Speaking to the God, confirmation of God's affirmation from God. When you read like a kavya, the Srinkara Rasam, all kinds of Navarasams in this elaboration of topics. Or if you go as a Vedantic seeker, in every shloka there's a Vedantam deep down. Or when you have a very laukika, an ordinary people like us, no, we go to God to pray for something, no? Let me diabetics to go away, or give me the lottery winning, or something like that. You find asking for help. You know, even there was a criticism about Bhattathri that, no, how can you go and ask for God cure me? You know, isn't it a low form of worship? Yes, but he does it for us. But even he goes on later in the, I think in the 80th Shadakam, he says, you gave me this ailment because, thank you for that, because I'm able to focus on you. But I still want you to cure because you are there. I can see you so beautifully. I can hear all the hymns everybody is singing. But my mind is not holding on to you. This rogam is punishing me. Therefore, just to focus on you, take the rogam away. What it means is, give me the endurance to pass through the prarabdha karma. Of course, his ailment is got cured, and that's a testimony for us to go to God to cure our problems. And there are a lot of legends about you go there, you pray, you get sorted out. All that is there. But most important is God takes care of you. That's what he says. It's not only that, he's also a great scholar in Sanskrit. And there's an anecdote about him. The king of Alapura, he's a very great scholar. He is himself. In the Krishna temple, there is a recital of Mahabharata. Somebody comes and reads Mahabharata every day. A Brahmin comes and reads Mahabharata. King knows Sanskrit. He knows Mahabharata. He just blesses him and gives him money. But he has his view. The time he becomes very famous, Melputhur, Narayana, and he wants to really see him. Even though Narayana has written poetry in price of people and asked money, there are poetries of him. Even in Narayana, he says, why did I do this? But he didn't want to come and meet this king. So one day it's very raining and pouring. The normal Purohit, supposedly the Mahabharata, did not come. Then he goes, the king says, go and find somebody. Somebody will be there in the temple looking for prasad. Ask him to come and read it today. Let him just, he says in Malayalam, Kuti Vachikadu. Let him just add these letters and then pronounce it. That's fine. So the ministers go there and we see Nambudri is sitting there and reciting Vedas, and they go and ask him, please, can you come? Can you do Kuti Vachikadu? Can you do literally, can you translate, read out the Sanskrit text? That's enough. Can you do it? He says, smiles, okay. This is Bhagavad Prapti. So he goes there and he was reciting this Mahabharata. And that is the portion that they are supposed to read is Yuddha Gandam and Kurukshetra war. And it's Bhimasena's war on the day. So he was reading his story. And at one particular time, he was reciting a shloka, Bhimasena Bhayatrasta Duryodhana Vrudini Shika Karvada Kasyeva Karnamula Pupastita. What he's saying is, when the Bhimasena comes there with a roaring sound and the gata in his hand, Duryodhana and all his gang got really scared, trembling, scared, and they ran away to go to Karnamula Pupastita, to go to Karna, to recite, go to Karna and say, Karna, please save me. And they go and abide in Karna. But the pun is, then the king, he got a book and he knows Mahabharata. He says, oh, where is this shloka? I can't see the shloka. Where is this shloka? Then he said, well, I made the shloka. I said, how can you do apacharam? You're reciting yourself. No, you gave me instruction. Kuti Vachikanam. Add something and read. So I added this verse. But the verse also has got a very inner meaning. What it means is, Karnam is also Karna, also the ears. He says, when this power of Bhima comes in, this Duryodhana Sena scattered like a hair of a bald man taking refuge in the tip of the ears. When somebody gets bald, the hair just recedes and then it goes into this tip of the thing. Of course, Duryodhana and others are like a hair word, they are evil people. And they are afraid and they reside in Karna. But the king also a bald person. The king was so thrilled and therefore even asked him to write the Grantha. That's why he will write the Prakrisa Sarvasha Grantha he wrote. Like that, he was like that. Just a want of time. I just wanted to take the first two of so like we did the Bhagavatam first and the last, we the Narayana first and the last, because the life of Bhattathri is in the Stotram itself. The very first one goes,
Santrananta avabodhatmakam anupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigama sadasagashrena nirbhashyamanam aspashtam trishtamatre punarurupurushatatmakam brahmatattvam tattavad bhadi sakshat Guru Pavanapure Andabhakyam Janana.
Of course, people who knows how to recite it very beautifully. Shanta, Sandrananda. What are you saying here? Sandra means very dense, very thick, lot. Sandra, Sandrananda Avabodhatmakam. Anupamitam Kala Desha. Shantra means Sachidananda. Anandam. Immense Anandam. Avabodhatmakam. So this is the Sachidananda Brahman, Satyam, which is Kala Desha Avadibhyam Nirmuktam. You should take the Nirmuktam there. Kala Desha, time, space, all this kind of thing, all gone. Free from all the six. Nitya Muktam, always free. Nigama, Nigama means scriptures. Sata Sakashrena Nirbhashyamanam. Hundreds and thousands of Nigamas. They try to explain this. Bhashyamanam, but Nirbhashyamanam, not able to explain it. Vedas are also struggling, neti, because it's anirvachaniyam. So therefore you can see the very first verse, like in Bhagavatam, he talks about the Nirguna Brahman, Sachidananda Swarupam. Aspashtam. It's not easy to say it. Now all this is, he said, okay, nothing new. Vedanta says the same thing. Then he says, Drishta Matre. Drishti means look. Matra means here the limit. Just by look at it, or just by the look, or just by the graceful look. You see, now he brings in Shabuna Brahma. Punaruru, this is the Sandhi. So Punaruru, Purushatmakam, Purushartham, Dharma, Kama, Artha, Moksha. That Purushartham as a Brahma Tattvam is given. How does it given? Brahma Kritaya. Tene Brahma Kritaya. It translates into your heart. In other words, there is someone whose glance comes in. The Purushartham, everything, the Brahma Tattvam will come. Where is it? Tat Tavat Bhati, that very reality is Bhadi Shakshat. Bhuvanapure, Pavanapure. So Pavana means Vayu. Guru means Guru. So Guru Pavana means Guru Vayu. Guru Pavanapure means Guru Vayu. Hanta Bhakyam Jananam. What a good fortune. Hanta means here. Oh my God. Bhagyam. For who? Janana. All the people. This is the Bhagyam. So what saying is, the Nirguna Brahman is in Guruvayur, is Drishta Matre, when by the Swami's look on you. That means you must go to Guruvayur, pray to the God. The look of him will give you the Bhagyam. See, Bhagyam is a very important word. Bhagyam is not something you earn. Pavapunyam you earn. Sugadukam you earn. Bhagyam is given. Bhagyam is there. Bhagyam is everywhere. You can't see the Bhagyam unless you have the Jnana Drishti or the grace of the God. I remember, many times I passed through that Harrowville temple. I didn't know there's an Ayyappan temple. And one Shivratri day, somebody told me there's an Ayyappan temple. Such time I didn't have the Bhagyam. See, Bhagyam is something which is coming to us by grace. When the Bhagyam comes in, everything comes in. See? So this is how he starts. And we don't have time to go through in detail. But the last one, it's an interesting answer. So the last one is he finished 99 dasakams. In every dashakam, you ask for ailment to be cured. But when you the last one, Bhagavan himself appears in front of him. So he basically describes the Lord. So therefore, it is the anubhuti that we get. Karuna Sindhu, Krishna's Prabhagam comes through Narayana Bhattathri. So when he finished that one, the last one, he says,
Ajñātvā te mahatvam yatika nikaditam vishvanatha kshameda stotram chaitat sakasrodharam adhikataram tvat prasadaya bhuyat dveta narayaniyam sudishu se janusha sutyata varnanena spītam līlāvadārai idamiha kurutam ayul arogya saukyam.
So not knowing your greatness, Ajñātvedi, not knowing your greatness, whatever here I said, oh Lord of the universe, forgive me. Please excuse me. And this hymn of 1000 or more, 1036 of your incarnation is called Narayaniyam for two reasons. See, Ayanam means dwelling. Nara means jivas. Nara Ayanam means where the jivas dwell. The jivas dwell in the Atma. Narayana. So Narayana is in which we all dwell. Therefore, Narayana's glory itself refers Narayaniyam. But he also is Narayana, the author. Therefore, it's called Narayaniyam. So, Spitam Leela Avataram. It is full of describing your Leelas. Itam Iha Krutam. So here it is, I confer it to you. Therefore, what is going to happen? Ayul Arogya Saukyam. This is exactly what we all need. See, you see this Mrityunjaya mantra. Hello, you come there. Pushti Vartanam. Urvaribha Bandhanan. So when I die, I want to die like a melon that departs from this plant without giving trouble to the plant, without having any difficulty. Like that, I must die. I must die without giving pain to anybody, without giving pain to myself. But then he says, Pushti Vartanam. But till I die, Janage Pushti Vartanam. Let me be nourished, let me be healthy. See, this is exactly what we all want. You all want to live happily, long life, healthy. And when I die, nobody is afraid of dying. But when I die, let me not have painful death. Let me not give pain to anybody else. This is the Mrityunjaya mantra. Therefore, here, Ayur, long life, Arogyam is mental purity, physical purity. And here there is a proof because this is sung by a poet, a bhakta who is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. And he got cured. But the meaning goes much more deeper. Ayur Arogya Saukyam. Saukyam is not Sukham. Sukham means Dukkham will come. We cannot come without Dukkham. Saukyam means Saukyam. Saubhakyam. Saukyam comes from the Bhagyam. You know, when we ask in Sanskrit also, Kushalam, you inquire Kushalam. Sometimes we say wrongly Kuchalam. No, Kushalam. Kushalam means how are you? Kushalava, how are you? But the root word Kusha also means Darbha grass. The grass which will cut your hand. You know, in Sanatana Dharma, they say the Sishyas go to the Guru with the Darbha hands and the grass in the hand. What's the point of that? It is to show to the Guru that he has got an ability to pull out Darbha grass without hurting his hand. That means the Guru knows by his very presence, he's an intellectually smart boy, he knows how to handle things. Therefore, he is able to handle what I'm going to teach. Dharma has no meaning. It's called Kusham. Kushalam, Bhagavan says, in Karma Yoga, Karma is Kaushalyam. Kaushalam, karma is that is perfectly done. It is carefully done. What is careful? Attention is carefulness. That means, what is careful means when you are walking in a place where full of muddy water, what do? You take your sari or a trousers, you lift it up, walk carefully because you don't want it to touch you. Life has to be like this. Life has to be lived very carefully. Why? Because the moment you are not careful, the mithya will take you, Kali will take you. Like a darba grass, like walking on this one. Attention all the time. Yes, I will be living long life. Ayul, arogyam. Sukha dukkham will come. Bhogam will come. Listen to good music. But I will be saukyam. I mean, I will be careful. I will be not mixing myself with anything. I will be detached. I'll have vairagyam. The prema bhakti, which is what Bhagavatam teaches, gives you vairagyam. See, vairagyam is not disliking something else. No, I don't take coffee. I have vairagyam. Vairagyam, if you take a positive way, vairagyam is liking. Vairagyam means liking everything as one. Vairagyam is liking the God as one. But all this vairagyam, jnanam, everything comes to you. It is not changing the Vedic law. It does not say, jnanameva kaivalyam. Jnanam is the only one give you liberation. We're not changing the law. It's not a bhakti, jnanam. There's no taradamyam here. What it means is, when you are a bhakta, and if you want moksha, what God will do, moksha needs jnanam, he'll put the jnanam into you. Now you got jnanam, you get moksha. You don't need to know. Then you don't need to understand Upanishad. Don't need to. If you have Shraddha Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. Like, if fire, when you touch fire, what will happen? It'll burn you. But do I have to know the physics of fire's heat, temperature, thermodynamics? Do I have to study? No. Put a hand, knowing nothing, it'll burn me. Like Sastradam, like the Guru Pureshwarar, Guruvayurappan, grants you what you need, like as real as you touching the fire. I think I have passed the time. So he does like this, and he get cured. I mean, this whole thing, the episode goes. I mean, you have to listen to this in a way the great scholars preach you. My only objective today, I don't even say my objective, my wish is that by talking about these sages and very little I know, I say, it'll create an interest in you. Oh, if there is a Narayana, if there is something which you can learn, this is the purpose, then this will give you some motivation and additional aid to go and look for the Narayana books. There are so many lectures are there, talking about bhakta, giving a lot of stories. Stories will come. Stories are necessary because if you don't need a story, you go to Upanishad. You come to the Bhagavad class because you come to stories. But stories are like sugar-filled medicine. We don't need to feel shy about asking God, make my son pass the exam or take this diabetics away. It doesn't matter, you ask. Who can we ask? If you can ask a doctor and please cure me, why can't you ask the God? So no need to be ashamed of it. No need to think that I am a Vedantic student, I will not ask for it. No, ask for it. But when you ask for it, like Bhattathri asked in the initial verses, the first four and the last, at least in my limited understanding, my limited knowledge, first 4, 5, and the last 4, 5 is full of Vedanta. And in between stories between Vedanta is put in a capsule. Sometimes he asked for, you're not coming, you're not helping me, you're not looking at me. But Bhagavan is trying to make him better and better and better. Because One anecdote is, I'll finish with that one. When he was there reciting like this, and Pundanam is another vernacular poet in Malayalam. I have not read more about him. But this anecdote I know, I heard. So he also writes a beautiful descriptive slogam in Malayalam about Guruvayurappa. And that time, Bhattathri's fame is there everywhere. So he is coming around this temple and he sees Narayana Bhattathri sitting there. Therefore, Pundanam goes to him with his script in palm leaves and prays to him and say, please look at it and give me your comment, This is normally the case, when you write poetry and you want to give it to other poet and everybody will appreciate, but when other poet appreciate or criticize, you get more happiness, right? So he goes to him and gives to him. But, he tells him, what? You want me to touch and recite this one where I am the scholar of Sanskrit? I'm a Pandit. He's definitely a Pandit, If you look at each of the slogam, this is called, he used something like 27 different meters, chantas. In fact, he composed in the age of 27 of him. And scholars say the compilation finished. The Ayul Arogya Saukyam is also a code word. You can decode them into numbers. He completed the 27th of November that year. But if you look at this, Ajnadate Mahatvam Yatika Nigatidam Vishwanatha Kshameda. Sotram Chaitya. All this, if you look at it, it comes in seven syllable. It's 21 syllable. It's called Shagadara Chantas. So like this, he has got some 27 different chantas. It's very difficult meter to do. And he just plays, like he knows the grammar. So he's, therefore for grammarians, Narayana is a elixir to teach. For reciters, this is a treasure because you can bring in Madhyamavadi raga, not a raga, but you can bring so many ragas to sing it. For a Kavya Rasanas, it's so much of Shringaram, so much of Navarasam is there. Of course, for people like looking for Vedantic pearls, and it is just dropped everywhere. And so this is the great story of Om Asadoma Sadgamaya Amashoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amardam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti
Om
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you, Raja.